to know. Watch now, the Internet Dad Show. Subscribe quick, join in the fun. Deep State's Grid Monster on the run.
That's how I used
Good
to
morning.
used to pick up all the chicks.
Did you? I used to not pick up all the chicks, so good on you. Good
Hello.
morning. Welcome to the show, nobody. This is Jason and Deacon. We decided for sure it's Deacon yesterday.
We did?
Yeah,
Oh.
we literally had a conversation about this,
Oh yeah, that's right.
about personality, identity. We had an interesting conversation, I thought, yesterday about imposter syndrome, about artificial life. I don't like the color of my light. Let me see if I can fix this.
I've got
I should
a
try to do this right now.
I've got another philosophical-ish conversation piece, if you want to, that we could talk about today. I posed it to my daughter yesterday, and she's not a deep thinker yet. She is, but she's 20 years old.
Sure. Yeah, her deep thinking is, boys.
Yeah, I don't care. What's my boyfriend doing? That's her deep thinking, you know? So, you want me to get into it?
Well, before we do that,
Yeah.
please, for anybody that tunes in for the first 30 seconds or so please subscribe to rumble.com/internetdads or youtube.com/@internetdads. Links are in the description below, as are a link to Andy's books. Now, the link down there for Andy's books is ugly and horrible. It's a bit.ly link, and it looks like gobbledygook garbage, but you can still click on it. And then, eventually, between the brain power of the two of us, we will figure out how to make it something that is both short and easy to read.
Just click the damn link. It's short. It ain't got to be fancy. Click the link.
Yeah. Well,
Jeez.
okay. It's obligated. Professionals are obligated to make sure that people know that they're supposed to listen to the show. And you're also supposed to just push this thing up out of the way.
Okay. I didn't know we could do that.
All right. Yeah, you didn't know that. The world is imaginary, and so imaginary things are just as real as everything else.
I guess that's very true. That's very true.
It's not very true. It's garbage.
Yes.
It's garbage philosophy from a garbage philosophy thinker.
Everything you see is made up. I think we're proving that. Hey, today's National Purple Day for military children. And that's what I stated on the air this morning. I was like, because we was talking about that, and I was like, today's National Purple Up Day or whatever, Purple Day, and it's for military children, and whatnot.
Okay.
And I was like, do you know that the color purple does not exist? That does not exist, JJ.
I think it's magenta. Magenta does not exist.
No, purple doesn't. There is no purple light waves. What you are getting is red and blue that are coming into your eyes, and your brain is inventing the color purple. Purple does not exist outside of your brain when you see that color, because when you see colors, you're seeing the color that's reflecting off that object. I know what you're doing. Look it up. Google will tell you exactly what I said.
I know that magenta doesn't exist. So, but does purple also not exist?
Yes, there's no purple light waves. They don't exist.
Yeah. Okay, you're not wrong.
Your brain.
You're not wrong. It's also an artifact of your brain combining two waves.
But we also know, and we're finding out, and I find this stuff very interesting, is that you can't rely on your brain for things. Remember how the cops would used to say, like, eyewitnesses, you can have 5 people watch the thing, and you ask all 5 people what kind of hair did they have, and you'll have 4 different answers.
This is exactly why you should not believe anything by anybody, and it's not because they're lying.
That's right, because everything's made up, like you just said.
You don't remember things as they happened. You remember the last time you told that story. That's what you remember. If you're like, oh, when I was a kid, I fell down and broke my arm. You know what I'm remembering? Not when I fell down and broke my arm.
I remember, like,
no, you don't.
When it happened.
You think you do. No, you think you do.
You don't know my freaking memory. I'm telling you,
sir.
I can tell you the scent that someone was wearing when we were in there, what color shoelaces they had.
because the last time you remembered it, you rewrote it to your brain. That is what happened.
Okay.
So every time
That's
you
what a
remember
memory
something,
is.
except it's overwriting itself. Every time you remember it, it's overwriting the previous memory.
Dude.
So it gets deteriorated.
I know. You can, okay. I see how you look at it, but I don't agree with you that we are computers and we overwrite and we need a freaking defrag every once in a while. Good gracious. So
I'm right.
I know.
Morning, D. Good. Do good.
Always right. I am now in a point in my life that everyone is right and I'm wrong. And I'm completely fine with letting everyone else think that they're right and I'm completely wrong. I'm not going to argue with people. I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince or even present my argument, because most of the time people shut down and they don't even want to hear what I have to say or my argument. So why am I wasting my precious time on this earth trying to convince someone or even present my argument to someone that's not even going to listen? And that's not you. I'm talking about everybody anymore. I've just got to this point to where I'm not.
That feels okay. So I think it was.
I have felt this way my entire life. This is nothing new. All right. I have always been the kid that was told to quit asking so many questions, or was pacified with a generic answer, or preachers used to get mad at me because I had so many questions, not just one, but several. So, I mean, this is nothing new.
So Redhead Ryan
and sick of it.
I'm here to learn something, Deke, today. Yeah. So maybe I made a blanket assertion that you don't remember the things that you remember. You remember the last time you remembered them. And Redhead Ryan says memories can also be reinforced and synapses in the brain strengthen. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But I know that I read an article probably 2 weeks ago, but we've also talked about this on the show last year or something, that they did some sort of an experiment, and they were able to test that you don't actually you don't remember things. You just remember the last time you remember them. And that's the only way I can say it.
I'm not arguing with that. I completely believe that. I believe that there is a lot of things that you do remember the last time you remembered it. For example, like 15 years ago, I asked my dad, we have this national recreation area here in Kentucky, in Western Kentucky, called LBL, Land Between the Lakes. 117,000 acres or something of wildlife area. There's a train coming, so it's fixing to freaking blow. But when we were over there as a kid with Dad, we were driving down one of those. There it is. Hang on. Welcome to my life.
If you recall, for the denominator, when doing sample standard deviation, it's n-1, so sample size -1.
Can you hear my wife?
So you would have divided by 10.
All I hear is a train.
Okay. 2.
So anyway, let's get back to this memory and remembering a memory or something. So yes, we were over there as a kid. We were driving down a road. Way down on this straight road, we see a huge cat with a long tail cross the road in front of us. Okay. So this is the memory as an adult that I have. I have a memory of going down a long straight road and then seeing this large cat cross in front of us. It's obviously a mountain lion or something like that. So years later, in my 30s, me and Dad were talking one day, and I remembered it, and I said, Dad, answer a question for me, because I think I invented this story as a kid in my mind, and I have thought that it was real, and I have told this story so many times, I think I have made it real when it's not real. And he was like, okay. And I told him, was there a time that we went and we were driving down one of the roads in LBL and we saw a big cat? And without missing a beat, my dad said, well, that was road 174. Like, he remembered the road number that we were on.
They'd have to make a big deal about it, the whole class.
Right. Yeah. She's on a conference call, so you may hear a bit about standard deviation. I don't know how to mute or
Don't know why my
Dave.
Why
Oh,
am I-
Galvatron. Special guest
Galvatron.
Galvatron.
am I
Don't fix it, Dave. This is amazing.
not gonna fix it, amazing.
Say, I will take over the world.
Your
In a world.
face is whoa, I have a screen now.
You sound like a drunk robot.
When
Don't fix it. Don't fix it.
Why even go to the right screen? I think
All your bases belong to us.
Hold on. No, I can make it even better.
it.
Please don't fix it. Don't fix anything right now.
I'm not touching anything.
Not
Where's the
going to.
I'm waiting for something special.
It.
go ahead, finish your thought, please,
My thought.
Deacon. Yeah.
Well, and that's why I think, I mean, honestly, if the Autobots teamed up with G.I. Joe, they could completely take over and then
Hey,
they could do some damage to the Decepticons. That's
I think you're
the point I'm trying to
Autobots, roll out.
you're making a bit of a joke, but there's a book called it's not Radiant Black. It's Void Rivals. It's a comic book. It's by Robert Kirkman. He's the guy that did The Walking Dead. You may see. There you go, Dave. That's for you. And it takes
Is
so
that
long to-
Starscream? No, that's Megatron.
It's
Yeah,
Gal-
that's
No, it's
Megatron.
Galvatron.
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 There we go. Yeah, it's been so long.
All right. So
All right, I'm gonna try to fix it now.
hold on. No, I'm going to tell you guys something you really don't care about, and then we'll go back to that subject.
Okay.
There's a comic book called Void Rivals by Robert Kirkman. It takes place in the Inner John universe. Now, in this comic book, Void Rivals, there's like some planet out there that's divided in half, and one side is the whatevers, and the other side is the other people, and they are at war perpetually, but their planet is like a ring around a star. It's like one of those. You ever seen that science fiction kind of concept where like you build a structure around a star and then you absorb all its energy? Well, that's what their world is, except it's bisected. So one
Dyson
half
sphere.
is one people and the other half is the other people, and they're constantly at war. Well, it takes place in the Inner John universe, and the Inner John universe is something that Skybound Entertainment and Robert Kirkman, they made a deal with like Hasbro, I guess, or whoever owns this IP. The Transformers exist in the world of Void Rivals. That is, in the universe of Void Rivals, the Transformers exist, and so they come up in the story, and so does G.I. Joe. So G.I. Joe and Transformers are in the same universe.
That's cool.
And do you remember back in the 1980s cartoons, all the G.I. Joe laser guns and the Cobra guns would shoot like blast lasers or whatever? Blast. It has been what's the word? Retro.
Retcon.
Ret-
Retcon.
Retconned. Yeah, all the Cobra weapons ran on Energon.
Energon.
Yes. Yeah. So
That's
it's an awesome book.
that theoretical megastructure around a star is called a Dyson sphere.
Dyson sphere, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna fix my stuff now.
That sounds like, I mean, I like stuff like that. If you're going to tell a cool story, like a He-Man,
I don't know where I have
and
it
then,
split around somewhere.
you know, you got He-Man and She-Ra and all that mythos, but like what happens when they go to another continent and there's the Thundercats? It's all in the same world. You know, it's pretty cool. All right. This has been Nerd Talk with Andy, Jason, and Dave.
Yeah. All right. So check this. So we're going to go back to the fake memories thing for a second, if you don't mind. And I know you don't mind because I'm going to do it whether I'm going to do it anyway. This is an article from Science Direct. It was published in 1988.
Yeah.
I believe. I saw that on here somewhere. Yeah. Cognition, 1988. Volume 29, issue 2. Flashbulb memories are distinctly vivid recollections of the real world details surrounding people's discovery of shocking news. So in this paper, two theories, depending on emotional response and the others relying on rehearsal, were compared. The study focused on people who heard the news from another persona as opposed to the media. 279 subjects were tested, 2 weeks, and 142 subjects were tested in 8 months following the shuttle explosion on 4 memory measures: a free and probe recall test of their flashbulb memory, a confidence estimate of their answers to the discovery of the probe, an approved recall test of facts concerning the shuttle explosion itself. The subjects were grouped according to their self-estimated emotional reaction to the discovery of the event and the number of times that they rehearsed the shuttle story by recounting the story to others. That is, you tell the story to someone else and, kind of like concretes itself in there. The results indicated flashbulb memories of people's discovery of shocking news are different from their memories about the event itself. Emotion and rehearsal interact over time such that either factor is sufficient to generate flashbulb discovery memories if measured within short time after the event. In contrast, both strong emotions and many rehearsals are necessary to maintain flashbulb details over a long period of time. So, recounting the story changes your memory of the facts. So,
You know what we call that in Kentucky?
what you call
It's
that?
a fishtail. That's all
A
it is.
fish tail.
Yeah. Every time you tell the story, the fish gets a little bigger.
Well, that's true. Right.
That's what it is.
Well, some of that is inaccuracies, right? And then some of it is
So do you
embellishment.
believe that?
Do I believe that?
Yeah.
Do I believe that?
Do you put credence in that? Because I'm not dismissing it. I'm just asking a question.
Well, there's in this study. I don't know if I believe it or not. What I'm saying is, in this study, they found. Now they didn't. That doesn't prove. They just found that it seems like emotion and recounting the event interact in such a way that replaces the memory of the event itself.
Now take that and apply that to every piece of history that we've ever been taught.
Oh yeah, we know history's fake. Come on. We know history's fake. And you know what? I know that you think you know history, but you also know that history that you know is also not true, right?
Right. But what about me? What about me that was actually standing, leaning on the back of the recliner in the living room because I was in the bedroom playing Nintendo that morning because it was a snow day in Western Kentucky, and Mom was in the kitchen and she yelled, "Andrew, come in here and look at this." And I walked in there and I was leaning on the back of the recliner watching the big wooden box television that we had sitting on the floor, and I was watching the Challenger explode. And they were showing it on the news and stuff. So I mean,
are you 100%
about that morning?
Are you 100% confident of the details of that story, of every detail that you think you remember? Are you 100% confident?
I couldn't tell you what video game I was playing. I know I was playing a Nintendo, and I know I was in my back bedroom, and it was a snow day in Marshall County. And I clearly remember leaning on the back of Dad's Lazy Boy recliner in there, like leaning on the back of it.
It was a school day. It was a school day, right?
Yep. Yeah. Because a lot of people remember watching it in classroom, but we weren't in the classroom that day. We had a snow day. And I was at home.
You had a snow day. Okay.
Yeah, we had a snow day.
My memory of that event, let me bring this down so that we can let me just bring this down for a moment. My memory of that day is that all of the classes in, I think it was my third grade. All of the classes, or several of the classes, were brought together into the same room, and we had a TV on a cart. So back in the 1900s, when video was broadcast to kids, they had a TV strapped to a giant cart, and they had to wheel it into the room. And I remember very distinctly sitting basically right in front of it, maybe second or third row or something, and the whole class of us, and we were watching the rocket lift off, and then I watched it blow up. And I remember that. I have close to 5% confidence that was real. Like I don't know that was a real event. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
I remember it clearly.
That because I was going to say in true Deacon fashion, I was going to say go down that rabbit hole. If you have not went down the Challenger rabbit hole and where it starts to talk about all this stuff about it is one that is I was like, wow.
It's a crazy one.
It's a
Is my
crazy
voice still
one.
jacked up?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I was in like I don't remember if I was in 3rd or 4th grade. The classroom I remember being in would have been 4th grade, but it was 86, so I should have been in 3rd grade. I remember being in the far right side of the class and the TV being on the far left side of the class. I feel like we had just gotten back from lunch. I don't remember. Actually wrong. But I remember them as soon as it was over with. As soon as the explosion had happened, they turned the TV off and wheeled it out, and we went on with the day.
Talking about
what the
math.
heck?
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about math, but
Do you know what the last radio transmission from the Challenger was? I don't know that. I don't guess I've ever.
What happens if I push this button?
Hey, y'all, watch this.
JJ, boring. Jeez. All right. Okay. I thought it was interesting. I think they kind of thought it was interesting. Guess not.
The last clear communication, Roger, go at throttle up.
The pilot, Michael J. Smith, also spoke the last crew comment recorded, uh-oh, just before the shuttle's destruction.
Wow. I'm sorry. That's not funny, but like, those are last words. His last words were,
speaking of, let's just change. Let's stay on the
say.
same subject, but change off the Challenger real quick in this rabbit hole of the Challenger. You want to go down another really interesting rabbit hole that really will make you be like, today is the anniversary of the Titanic sinking. And that is a very, very interesting rabbit hole. You don't believe that the elites control the world, then you need to look at that one in particular from 100 years ago.
When I was in Northern Ireland, I got to see where the Titanic was built. And they had a bunch of sayings there that I loved. First of all, it was fine when it left the dock. Love that.
Hey, it was fine when it left the dock.
The second thing they said was, the Irish built it, the English sank it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I might have. It'll take me forever. I've got pictures from the place where I built it.
Do good.
They built it, yeah.
Do you know what the last radio transmission from the Challenger was? We'll let the girl take over now.
Oh my God! I didn't know he was telling a joke.
I didn't either.
I don't see any of the. Not moderated, so I don't see anything. So I'm sorry, do good.
Are you not? How is it that Deacon can and you can't?
It's because I bounced in and out a couple of times, and you would have to moderate me every time I come back in. Do good. You should be ashamed.
I didn't moderate Deacon before.
I truly believe that when we're all standing up in front of St. Peter's going to be like, Andy, you laughed at a lot of jokes you shouldn't have laughed at. I think this is going to be one of those. He's going to be, remember that time on the Internet Dad show when Dugan told that joke? You should laugh.
That time. There's going to be a whole list.
That one got you a point.
This is going to be the thing that gets you. We've said.
Thanks.
The entire roster is going to be there. We're going to both be standing right there, and they're going to be like, "You guys have to look at what you did. Look at this." And we're like, "Oh, come on, we were just having fun."
I've always joked that I was like, when I die, if I go to heaven, I'll be like, I won't actually be in heaven. I'll be sitting right outside on this bench that says laughed at too many inappropriate jokes. I can't quite get in, but I didn't do anything that bad to go anywhere else. I just got to stay outside on the bench forever.
All right. I have some TLDR stories that I think are interesting, and you guys may not think are interesting, but that's the way
Yeah, I
this stuff
posted some
goes.
that I thought was interesting.
Oh, we had a cool conversation with your story yesterday, Dave.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad.
Sorry you missed out on it. But I guess the summary would be I'm not in favor of making robot slaves out of dead people, but
Start making more music.
I'm not on the majority on that, I guess. Scientists revive an organism found buried at the bottom of the ocean. So this is kind of related to that.
What could go wrong?
The resurrected organism is thousands of years old.
Is it the dire squid?
I don't think they have a picture.
Squid.
Let me see if they have a picture.
Dire squid.
No, I don't know what a dire squid is. I have a feeling it's probably
I made
plankton.
it. It's like a dire wolf.
How do I saw immersive reader. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
How we have to do we got to like show articles all the time. Well, it turns out if you just go to your browser and do immersive reader, you don't see any of the dadgum ads. So here is from Science Direct. A team of researchers in Germany have revived algae cells found buried at the bottom of the Baltic Sea, where they had laid dormant for 7,000 years. For millennia, the cells, which were imprisoned under layers of sediment, were deprived of oxygen and light. It seems like, okay, so first of all, what's the best possible outcome of reviving millennia old algae? Like
zombies? That's the best outcome.
It's like zombie lettuce, isn't it? Isn't it just like plant food for but what if, but don't they have some of these things that like eat plastics and stuff? Wouldn't it be wild if like we revived some sort of, yeah, they've engineered some, but like what if there was like algae that they revived accidentally that literally turned into like the Blob movie, where like it just kept growing and consuming everything that it
what if like a
across?
Previous civilization actually had plastics and then they figured out how to get rid of plastics, and they got rid of plastics, fast forward a couple thousand years, and we're like, these old idiots, they didn't have anything. We just didn't know because they got rid of it. They found something to get rid of the crap. That could be a fun story.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Germans have revived millennia old algae.
Damn it!
I think
Germany?
it's algae. Yeah, and algae from 9 samples were able to be restored after this researchers placed them in favorable conditions. The oldest one was 6,871 years old. Although I have to question, how do you know how old dead plants are?
Cut it in half and count the rings.
Yeah, you cut it in half, you count the rings.
Sure.
Let's go back to our. Oh, my bad. Forgot to hit that button.
Okay. All right. It's not as interesting as I thought it would be, but
it's
not as interesting as yesterday's. Yesterday's story, do good. If you didn't come around yesterday, there was a musician and he died in 2021, and some people took parts of his brain and grew a new brain, and now it has to play
took parts of his blood.
Sure. Blood. Yeah. They made a potato cymbal player. I'm so loud, you are literally screaming into your own microphone. But I'm not screaming.
I know the intricacies.
I am not screaming. I'm talking at a normal volume.
Have you ever seen what JJ looks like before he sleeps on the couch at night?
Yeah,
right there.
I don't think I've ever slept on the couch all night long.
And you won't. I'll sleep well without you.
Okay, so how about this? This is salient to
call yourself lucky, because by God I have. Looky there. You see, you're getting a little love kiss. Only thing I'm gonna get is a lick in the face from little buddy over here.
Well, she doesn't sleep well if I'm not in the bed to keep the bed warm.
We all have our
the little Dutch oven action going on. I understand.
YouTube is supporting the No Fakes Act.
Awesome.
Protecting creators and viewers in the age of AI.
Glad it's protecting us.
So,
We need someone to protect us.
I have mixed feelings about this.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with fakes,
Me neither.
but I think that, I think they need to be in a certain place. I think some places need to be sacred. I don't know why. YouTube's definitely far from sacred, but
I mean,
Nah.
didn't we just spend the first 15 minutes of this show establishing
was
that there
late.
is nothing real? So
Yeah,
if
late.
nothing is real and we ban fakes, what do we got left?
Tell me how this is really going to stop anything but the average person from posting it to one of the most public platforms out there. Because fakes are here and they are unbelievably good. And the nefarious people, be it government, civilian, whatever, are underline, going to use them. Period. Whether
Oh, yeah.
YouTube says yes or no. This is just stifling the. Are you there? I accidentally hit a bunch of buttons.
Yeah,
this
we're
is,
here.
This is just stifling the when it talks about fakes, is it fake everything? Fake AI everything? Because I'm really enjoying some of these AI created
brilliant.
Star Wars videos and some of these
Right.
different videos that they're making with AI. Now, some of them are funny when you're doing like funny stuff with the AI, but they're using this AI to make some I watched a really nice, like 7-minute long Star Wars. It was completely done with man. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the attack on the robot base, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
With Grievous. Yeah, that was really, really good.
Really well done.
Show
and the
it.
guy did it in his
Let me see it.
dude did it in his like
find it?
basement. I think I probably can. You posted it in the Discord server
I
a
did.
year ago.
Many moons ago.
So I want to know what the details of this No Fakes Act are. So are they saying
Because there's definitely stuff that doesn't need to be faked.
So they said that they have updated their privacy policy so that people can submit requests for removal of altered or synthetic content that simulates their likeness, including their face or voice. So that means that Joe Rogan's new part-time job is going to be going onto YouTube and deleting fake ads that are Joe Rogan selling stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, which is already just they start with a video of Joe Rogan sitting there and then they flash to something else real quick. That's to establish that, hey, this is Joe Rogan talking, but you don't need to see that his lips are never going to amount.
Right.
AI audio is so obvious to me anymore. There's no inflection in people's voices. Everybody has a chorus to the way that they speak. Even the monotone people have a chorus to the way that they speak. It's like a melody. It's like a song.
I got it, Deke. I'm gonna post it in the general chat of Discord. It's from TikTok.
But AI doesn't.
Yeah,
AI doesn't keep that chorus and that melody. It can get the inflection and stuff like that, but it can't get that melody of the voice. The sing.
I find currently AI voices, they just make the simplest mistakes. Like there's one AI ad where where it looks convincingly like a guy trying to tell you to use his stock system or whatever to buy and trade sales or stocks or whatever, visit his website. He says like, I trade every day live. And it's like, that's the word live, but you're not a human. So you didn't read it correctly. So, and whoever edited it, I guess, didn't know or didn't spend enough time working on it. So
they need more A1 sauce.
Yeah.
And you can
all right, so do good.
Catch some of that sometimes because the English language has a bunch of words that if you just misspell it or leave out one letter, it creates a whole new word, and AI and spell checker won't catch it. And it'll have, you want to type band and you leave out in and you've got bad and it's going to read bad because it's not an incorrect misspelling. So,
when you say some things don't need to be faked, what exactly do you think about? What does not need to be faked?
There are definitely some political things that I don't think need to be faked. Anything that involves threats of, and it's going to be hard now, but heinous crimes,
Mm.
or calls for crime.
Oh yeah, sure. What about video
Um,
evidence? Video evidence
video
that's like on
evidence,
YouTube, but
yeah,
oh, we got video of him running down the street and spray painting swastikas and then hitting
I
somebody with a
remember
baseball bat. Except none
several
of that
years
may be
ago.
real.
Several years ago, somebody made this comment to me, and I guess I'm just not remember because it brings it all back up. They said, an image is just a collection of ones and zeros, right? I mean,
Right.
it's in essence, and yeah, there's other letters involved as well, but it's just a string of ones and zeros. So every single
Sure,
one
it's
of us
data.
is just a bunch of ones and zeros away from an affair. Someone has a picture of us
Mm,
with whoever. Um,
right.
and I'm like, oh goodness, that's crazy. And that was like 20 years ago, early in the days of Photoshop and what all, and the stuff that goes on now. I mean, you can destroy someone's livelihood.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
kill you can drive someone to a place where they think the only answer is suicide with some of these fake videos. You can
There's
completely
already been stuff
destroy.
like that where
Yeah, yeah, there has.
where the kids, you know,
Yeah,
with
and so
fake
there has
videos,
to
and the
be a
one that killed
um,
himself, and they just had faked videos that they were going to release.
there has to be some kind of just because you can doesn't mean you should type. I don't know how to. I'm the guy that puts the shopping carts away when I'm at the store. Not
Oh
everybody's
yeah.
going to do that. Yeah,
No.
yeah. I'll get like
So
5 or 6, not just my own, but like, come on, people.
so Deacon, Dugood said something up here like just a second ago that might be an idea that nobody's had before. Now we were talking about the plankton revived or whatever. And Dugood said werewolves, deep sea werewolves. And then I think nobody's ever written a short story about mer people. So you take werewolves and mermaids. Huh? There's got to be an audience for this.
There is
Weremers.
an audience, I bet, for that. I mean, I
Weremers,
watched the
merwolves,
Velocipaster.
merwolves.
Then you got to do Merkenstein.
Ooh, see, you could have a whole mermaid. That's pretty good.
Everything's a bad idea until the
mermy.
first
You can have
person
a
makes it a
mermy.
good idea.
I don't know what a mermy is, but you know what a mermy is.
You
A
know,
mermy?
I
Yeah,
think I
they're
just
wrapped
figured out
up.
why. Okay, and also
They're
I
buried
want
in
to
the
say
obelisk that's actually under the sea, where the top part sticks out.
if anybody out there is interested in short
A long
stories,
way.
there are some short stories called Lost Transmissions.
Oh,
They're
that's cool.
available on Amazon. Isn't
Have you
that
read
neat?
them?
Please.
Are they good?
I'm 2 in, yeah. I'm a slow
haven't
reader,
read
man.
them.
I don't care if it's a
I've
30-minute book.
I
I'm a
started.
slow reader.
I'm
And
I
I
gonna
think
be,
still,
it's hard to read.
they don't
I
take.
think the Caretaker is like 5 or 6, 7 little chapters with a prologue and an epilogue, and then the Request is 5 chapters, and
the request is great.
I think the Last Catch is like 5 or 6 chapters, but they're
Uh-huh.
not very long chapters. I don't want to. These aren't novel books where I need to Stephen King you a
Mhm.
story. That's one thing about Stephen King. If you've ever read Stephen King books, if the character walks into a room on the first page of the chapter, you can go ahead and turn 4 pages and get to what he actually does, because those 3 pages are going to be describing the room. And which I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with that. But after you read about 6 Stephen King books, you're like, dude, I think The Dark Tower could have been 4 books.
Right.
You
Or
know,
one.
or one big book. You
It
know?
really probably should have been one book, because by the time you get to the end of the last book, he's starting over at the beginning. I'm like, well, why did I even read this?
Well, when you get to the 4th book, was it the 4th book? Was it the Wolves of Kala, where he it's a complete, like, back when he was a kid? Or is that the 3rd?
Wolves
Song
of Kala
Steve
is
Jonah.
actually based on the Magnificent Seven, or on the Seven Samurai. That's what the Wolves of Kala. That's
Song
Stephen
of-
King's.
yeah.
That's Stephen King's Magnificent Seven.
I always liked the fact that Steven started writing this epic story back around the same time that Lord of the Rings and Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and the Chronicles of Narnia were coming out, and he stopped. He was like, I don't want to feel like I'm. So he started writing all these other stories, and then in the 90s or whenever it was, the 80s or the 90s, he came back and finished all those books.
Yeah, he was like, I want more money.
I'm sober
I'm
now.
I'm dried up and sober, and I want to pay off this medical debt from getting hit by a car. So,
oh, that's right. He got hit by a car.
He almost got killed.
Like, pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it messed him up pretty good. Let's see. This is something that is of little interest, I'm sure, to most of you, but it's of interest to me. OpenAI has released ChatGPT 4.1 in the API. So if you are like me and you write code and I use Visual Studio Code. I have a Copilot account, and my Copilot account links into ChatGPT 4.1. And the thing that's good about this for me is that it has like 1 million token context, which is great because I have had O3 and GPT 4.0 completely crap. Okay, all right.
No,
okay.
no. I'm listening to you. I'm actually interested in this. I'm actually listening to you. Jesus Christ.
I have Copilot go through my project, and it gives up before it gets to the end because it can't hold the whole project in its mind while it's working on stuff. So I'll get like 15 questions through, and then it's just like and it just stops.
That's what I was going to comment and ask. Does this mean 4.1 is now available all the time without the limit?
So.
Well, I don't know about
here recently. 4.1 was the one where I have a certain limit, like 20 to 30 queries every 6 hours or something. And it really sucks because 4.1 to me was a lot better than any of the other ones at reasoning, deducing right. what my meaning was, even when I go back and read and it wasn't really clear, when I attach files to it and stuff and say, I need this, and done. It was a lot better than when I would run out of my limit and I would go to another one to do it. And it's just like, I don't know what you mean. It's like stupid.
So it not being able to like hold all of the things that you're talking about at one time, that's the context or the context tokens. And
right.
And there's different limits. There's like ChatGPT 4, 4.1, 4.1 mini, whatever. So I mean, I can't just say like, oh, it's like this because because 4.1 has got 2 or 3 variants. There's 4.1, 4.1 mini, and 4.1 nano. And it depends on whether or not you're using the free account or you're using the paid account. So I don't know which one you're using. But I have
GPT 4.0 O3 mini for advanced reasoning, GPT 4.0 mini for faster reasoning, and then 4.1 on this.
I don't know what I have. I don't use them. I'm a horrible person.
No,
but
you're not doing this kind of stuff.
But I should be using something. I should be playing around just to kind of understand what's going on with the technology.
I talked to Gemini. I put in my headphones on the way home, and I just talked to Gemini about certain things. And I don't like how Gemini answers questions, and I wish I could give it I'm sure I can. I just not went in.
The Bible software that I use went to a subscription model this past year, Logos Bible Software, which I highly recommend. It's great. They message me every month. Hey, you have unused AI tools that you're not. Yeah, I don't want AI tools in my Bible software. I just want to look up the books that I'm looking for, the commentaries, the journal articles that I want to read. I don't want your AI tools, and I should be probably letting the AI do all my research and stuff for me, make things go faster.
You didn't have to necessarily do all of your research, but I use it as a definitely a tool to help me. And then sometimes, like I said, I like to talk to Gemini about certain things, and we were talking about the string theory on multiple universes and something else the other day. And I don't really, I mean, I don't buy everything that it'll give me stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not buying everything that it says, but I'm using it to, get information.
Sure.
I use it a lot, but I'm having it iterate over code a bunch of times. And as smart as AI is, and I really like using it because it helps me do things faster, it makes huge mistakes. And
Oh,
it just
yeah.
doesn't understand you. It's just
Yeah.
like,
You just don't
what?
understand.
What do you mean?
And
Or you get way down the trail and then it's like, I forgot what we're doing. Let's start over. And you're like, oh my God. so I've started and I've told you before, I've started like I have, so in the project that I have now, I have a back end that's the server, okay, and I have the front end that is the website that you can see, and they're in two different directories and they run on different ports. And for the front end and separately for the back end, I have a README document that I tell the AI, read this, and then when you make changes, update this, and it is a project summary, and it basically kind of helps it force it to keep organized mentally about what all the functions and methods and parts of the app are. So I make it write a file that reminds itself what it's doing.
I am looking at the ChatGPT plan pricing thing. There are people out there who pay $200 a month.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if you're using ChatGPT to generate $5,000 a month, $200 a month for a tool
it's
that helps you
nothing.
generate $5,000 a month is nothing.
Yes.
Honestly, I when I'm done writing, I will tell it to take on the role of a proofreader, all these different roles of people in the industry to help me. And on my one book, it was giving me information on like, hey, you need to change it because if you write book 2, it needs to, and I'm like, no. But it did give me something that's like, in chapters 13 and 14, you lead up to this. Why don't you add something in one of the first couple of chapters to kind of, and I'm like, well, that's a good idea. So that's, it's a tool that is here. And if people are not using it in whatever you do, be it writing or bicycling or whatever you're doing, you can use it somehow, and you need to be.
Yeah, I like the argument the other day. There was a lawyer who got in trouble for using Chat GPT or
It was
using and smart lawyers are going to use Chat GPT, but they're not going to use it to win their arguments. They're going to use it to find case laws, to find scenarios that they've been through before.
Right. We saw last year that they had that there was a guy that did that for a court case, but he didn't check the work of the AI.
Whatever website JJ's going to suck.
I don't sound like Galvatron. He sounds like, I don't know.
He
sounds like the door stopper.
Yeah, he started
like the door stopper
skipping out. Now he's completely frozen. Whatever website you're on, close it.
Oh, now everything's gone black.
He's back for me.
Okay, everybody's black.
I'm closing them.
All right, I'm going to refresh again and see what happens here.
Oh, now he's closing. Hello, right. You're back.
Now everybody's gone for me. Whatever you hit was the wrong.
That was a no-no website. As soon as you clicked on it, you started zipping out.
Zipping?
Me or Dave?
You. JJ.
All right. Oh, okay. I'm not doing anything. I'm just closing tabs.
Well, whatever tab you reawaken. 7,000-year-old tab.
Actually, I know what that was. That was my project in the background, looking up the Chat GPT, the AI models that it was allowed to use. Sorry about that. Let's do jokes, and I have a conference call in a few minutes.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull them back up. I don't know what is going on outside, but something crazy is going on. Can you hear that at all?
All right, show's falling apart. Let's go.
Go ahead.
You may go.
All right, what is brown, hairy, and wears sunglasses? What is brown, hairy, and wears sunglasses?
I don't know.
Coconut on a cruise.
Oh! What do you call a woman standing in the middle of a tennis court?
I don't know. Just anything. Just get off the tennis court.
A net. If she kneels down, it's Courtney.
Which state has the most streets?
I don't know.
Which state?
Rhode Island.
Oh, these are terrible. Yeah, that one deserves an awe.
Hey, why did the student eat her homework?
I don't know.
Teacher told her it was a piece of cake.
Really. Maybe get you a website.
This is my website today. It's dadjokes.box. Oh my God.
You know why you would never wear a belt made of $100 bills? It's a waste of money.
Wow. All right, I got one more then.
Yeah.
5 out of 4 people admit that they are bad at fractions.
I've heard that before.
5 out of 4. Wait, what? Say that again.
5 out of 4 people are bad at fractions.
5 out of 4 people are bad at fractions. All right, Cassie said she has a joke.
The puppy asked the other dog, "What happens if I pee on the floor?"
The puppy asked another dog, "What happens if I pee on the floor?"
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Sir, no, sir!
Okay, thanks for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow.
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter lose her next swim meet to a psychopath dude with fake teeth. Essay for a comment, he said no. Watch now, the internet dad show. Subscribe quick, the squid monster's on the way. Inspire with us tomorrow's news today. Oh yeah.
Outside the bathroom, you're an American, but inside the bathroom, European.